Hey folks, Tim Newman with Soft Lite Studios bringing you yet again another daily assignment. Today's assignment for September 1st, 2019. Our assignment today is titled Vintage. Something old, something new. Okay, well let's skip the something new part. In today's assignment, work some vintage subjects and or some vintage scenes. It'll give you something new to look at. Okay, let's take a look at our sample images. Who doesn't remember the old receivers of days past? And you know what I think is really cool about this picture is taking this old image and working it across this diagonal line, managing the color set that you see here of the greens and yellows. And there's just a little bit of that kind of aged patina on the image to go with this kind of yellowed color set. So I think the colors here really matter along with the perspective. In this next image, I don't know if I've ever seen a typewriter this old in person, but this is pretty cool. I love the keycaps on here, and I think the diagonal line here works really well. I think, again, that kind of yellowed color set, if you will, works really well here. But I think the thing that works here better than anything else is the pattern of the keys in these keycaps. It's very, very cool. All right, let's take a look at our elements of design that we're thinking about here. Obviously, lines are important here, and those lines are what are going to give us the shapes that we recognize in these objects and subjects that we're shooting. But also, and I think this is equally as important, is the color sets here that you see in each of these images give that kind of aged yellow feel, if you will. Let's take a look at some more sample images. Now, in this sample image, we got a young lady here working a vintage camera, and I think this is a pretty cool scene. I really like the way this thing is lined up in the rule of thirds, that there is this obvious train that this person is on shooting out the window, and I just like the overall feel of the color set that we see here. Another one, an old vintage bike. And not that it's just an old vintage bike, but the way that it's worked against this old brick wall with a little bit of the, I guess you'd call it a little bit of mold on the wall, or a little bit of lichen, probably is the better term there. I like, again, the color set here. It's more of that aged looking color set. And I think that the subject balance here works really well. The bike as this isolated item against this large wall. And last but not least, an old vintage luggage set, and I think this works really well here. And I think, again, it's that vintage color set, those kind of faded blues and yellows that are bringing this picture together here as well. All right, let's take a look at some of our rules of composition that we care about. Rule of thirds is evident in a lot of these shots, and I think that really always helps. I think the balance here, a lot of times it's the geometric balance and subject balance that really make these shots come together. And again, in a lot of them, it's point of view. It's where you are in relationship to that vintage subject that you're shooting. Let's take a look at our export specifications. If you're going to provide us with an image for our semi-monthly image critique, please export it using the guidelines that you see here on this slide. You'll also see an example file name for today's date in our naming standard. If none of this makes any sense to you, please take a look at the Update 01 video, for which there is a link below in the description. Right next to that link, you will find the link for the upload URL to submit those images. And then, of course, that last but all-important link down there is the subscribe link, which will keep you up to date with what we're doing here at Soft Lite Studios. All right, well, get out there, find some old stuff that you can take some new pictures of. And while you're doing that, remember that learning equals skills, practice equals mastery. We'll see you out there.